Hey guys, welcome back to Fantasy Tip. My name is Julian, and this is the episode of the week where I tell you guys which players you should consider cutting from your team in order to make room for players that probably deserve to be there a little bit more. This is the drops video of week 16. Before we get started, guys, please leave a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, follow me on Twitter. I'm constantly posting there to help you guys win each and every week. So without further ado, guys, let's jump right into the schedule with some forwards that you should consider dropping. And first on the list is Evan Rodriguez of the Pittsburgh Penguins, 57% rostered, and I included him in my last drops video, and I'm including him again because after that video, he was elevated to the second line with Evgeny Malkin, so I said, okay, maybe he could still have some value, but now he's right back on that third line with Jeff Carter, no top power play time, so Rodriguez really doesn't have that much value in fantasy right now. And therefore, I think he's still a drop candidate. Next is Jakub Voracek of the Columbus Blue Jackets, 48% rostered, and he's still seeing top power play time, but his line with Bjorkstrand and Sillinger isn't the hottest right now, and he honestly hasn't been that amazing all year. He's been really below par pretty much the entire season. I mean, he's definitely someone that you could keep on your roster. He's not a must drop by any means, but in shallower leagues, he definitely could be dropped for pretty much a lot of other waiver wire pickups because they're going to be pretty much equivalent to Jakub Voracek. Next is Alexander Radulov of the Dallas Stars, 39% rostered, and he's skating on the third line like he has been all year, and he really has not been producing the entire season. He's only seeing between 13 and 15 minutes of ice time per night, which is not a lot, and only seeing power play 2 time right now. And to me, that was a saving grace, yeah, because he was not getting very good 5-on-5 time, but at least he was seeing top power play time with Robertson and Hintz and Pavelski. But now he's not even seeing that anymore. Seguin is seeing that top power play time, so it's really Radulov does not have a whole lot of value this year and should be dropped in a lot more leagues. He should not be owned in 39% of leagues. He really does not have a lot of value this year, unfortunately. Then I have Robert Thomas of the St. Louis Blues, and he's getting on a pretty good line with Jordan Kyrou and Vladimir Tarasenko. That's a solid line, but for week 16, the Blues don't have a very good schedule. They only play 2 games in a 10-day slate, which is not good at all. So Robert Thomas is definitely someone you could consider dropping, unless you're in like the super deep league, in which case I would hold him. Like 16 to 18 teams, I probably would consider holding him. But in any other type of league, I'm definitely dropping Robert Thomas. He's someone that doesn't put up a lot of peripherals, so if he's not putting up points, he's not really doing anything for you and possibly going negative because of the plus minus. Now, Robert Thomas and the St. Louis Blues have a really favorable schedule for the playoffs, so definitely someone that you could consider picking up later on when the Blues have a more favorable schedule. And then I have Alex Kerfoot of the Toronto Maple Leafs, 18% rostered, and while the Leafs do have a really good schedule for Week 16, Alexander Kerfoot is now playing on the third line. It's Kasha and Bunting playing on the top line with Matthews, and it's Mikheyev playing on the second line with Tavares and Marner. Therefore, being on the third line doesn't have a whole lot of value in Toronto. Therefore, Kerfoot is a drop. Jumping into some teams that you should consider dropping players from for Week 16, and the first 3 teams are LA, the New York Rangers, and the San Jose Sharks. All 3 of these teams only play 1 game the entire 10-day slate for Week 16. That's really not good. So therefore, you should definitely drop at least your low ownership Kings, Rangers, and Sharks because they're not worth holding. Obviously, your studs like Zibanejad, Hurdle, Kutsar, and Meyer, Kopitar, Kempe, you should probably hold on to those guys. But guys like a Capo Caco, a Philip Danault, a Mario Ferraro, maybe even an Alex Iafallo are guys that you can consider dropping for this week to help you out and win this week. Then the Anaheim Ducks and the Florida Panthers have some pretty bad schedules this week as well. The Ducks play Monday and then only play 1 game the entire week after that, so that's not great. So you can hold on to your Ducks for Monday and then maybe consider dropping some of them after that. And the Florida Panthers, they play Monday and Tuesday, but play no other games the entire week after that. So if you have some low-owned Panthers, that's definitely something I would consider doing as well. Guys like Patrick Hornquist, who, I mean, are fringe roster players to begin with, so definitely someone you can cut after Tuesday. Jumping into defensemen now, and first on the list is my MANSCAPED must-trim player of the video, Erik Johnson. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code word FANTASYTIPPED at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com with the code word FANTASYTIPPED. Unlock your confidence, guys, and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. Now, why is Erik Johnson my MANSCAPED must-trim player of the video? Well, Erik Johnson, he started off really hot. He was getting points left and right and was putting up some really great peripherals with shots, hits, and blocks. He's now gone a full 12 days without getting a point. So while the floor is kind of still there with the hits and the shots, which have also gone down a little bit, the ceiling isn't really there. There's not much of a ceiling, and therefore he's a drop in pretty much all leagues except for really deep categories leagues where you do need those peripherals. But even then, there's probably some better options as well because the peripherals are not that good these days anyway. Therefore, Erik Johnson, guys, while he had a good run, is someone that you should consider dropping now. Next on the list, I have Cam Fowler of the Anaheim Ducks, 43% rostered, and he still is seeing a good amount of power play time, and he's been performing pretty well. I'm not dropping him for his performance. I'm dropping him because the Ducks have a terrible schedule this week. They play Monday, and then they only play one game the entirety of the 10 days after that. If you can afford to drop this guy and you're in a league that's shallow enough that you'll probably get him back, or there's someone else that's just as good on the waiver wire, I would absolutely do so for this week because Fowler is not going to help you a whole lot this week. Next, I have Rasmus Ristolainen of the Philadelphia Flyers, 27% rostered. And if you own him in a league that doesn't include hits, you're doing something wrong because that's the only thing this guy is good for. He's good to get you some hits, and the Flyers have not been playing well. So, I mean, everyone is going to be negative until this team can sort things out. So really, Rasmus Ristolainen is not someone I'd be holding in any type of league, unless you're in a categories league where you really need hits, or you're in a league points-based league that has hits and gives you a safe floor. I guess that's all right as well, but honestly, definitely not my favorite option. Next, I have Brandon Montour of the Florida Panthers, 21% rostered, and he does see second power play time in Florida. But let's be honest, the second power play in Florida isn't that great and doesn't see that much power play time. And therefore, Brandon Montour, when the Florida Panthers have a solid schedule, he's someone who's a good streamer. But right now, the Panthers have a terrible schedule for Week 16, and therefore is an easy drop. Then I have Brayden McNabb of the Vegas Golden Knights, 17% rostered, and I absolutely loved this guy a couple weeks ago because he was seeing top pairing minutes and was getting a whole lot of peripherals with blocks and hits and shots on goal, but now they have completely dried off, and he's only seeing third pairing minutes since Nicholas Hague is back on Vegas. So right now, Brayden McNabb is a super easy drop. Jumping into the goalies now, and first on the list is Jordan Binnington of the St. Louis Blues. And no, I'm not being a hypocrite. I know I just told you guys to buy low on Jordan Binnington, but I'm telling you guys to drop him in shallow leagues. And what I mean by shallow leagues are leagues that have plenty of starting goalies available on the free agency, and if that's the case, he's definitely droppable for a goalie that's gonna get more starts. If you're in a deep league and there's not really any starting goalies on your free agency, obviously you gotta hold on to Jordan Binnington, and he's someone that I do see possibly taking back the crease at some point. But he's just a drop at the moment because Husso is just playing so well in those shallower leagues. Then I have Jake Allen of the Montreal Canadiens, 24% rostered, and the dude's still injured and he's not gonna be back for like another 6 weeks, so if you have the room on your IR, I guess you can hold on to him, but I mean, he's not someone who's a must-hold by any means whatsoever. Then I have Jeremy Swayman of the Boston Bruins, 23% rostered, and Tuukka Rask actually missed last game and he wasn't called up, which is not a good sign. They have Troy Grossman on the taxi squad, so it looks like even if Rask were to miss a game or two, Troy Grossman is going to be the backup, and Swayman's going to continue to see AHL starts, which is not necessarily bad for his development, but it doesn't look like Swayman has a whole lot of value going forward unless a major injury really happens. Then I have Alexander Georgiev of the Rangers, 20% rostered, and he is not playing well. In his last 2 starts, he's been pretty atrocious, and he's only seeing back-to-back starts anyway, so there's really no reason to hold on to this guy. You can stream him for back-to-back games in the future, but right now, to just hold them, it doesn't make any sense at all. Then I have Anthony Stolarz of the Anaheim Ducks, 16% rostered, and I love Stolarz. He's a really underrated backup, but Gibson is a starter in Anaheim, so there's not really a reason to hold on to Stolarz. Same kind of thing as Georgiev. He's only really going to see the back-to-back games going forward, and that's why he's a drop right now. And that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching all the way through. Please leave a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Hope you guys enjoyed the content today, and I'll catch you in the next episode of Fantasy Tipped.